This video is sponsored by King's Comics. What is it that truly makes us human? If technology were advanced enough to create robots that are indistinguishable from humans, what actually sets us apart? This is the core question of Blade Runner. It also acts as a framework for the film to explore a wide array of philosophical and social concepts. All of these deep themes underpin the dark and gritty detective story masterfully brought to life on screen by blending the classic film noir aesthetic with sci-fi. In doing so, Blade Runner was famously instrumental in codifying the cyberpunk aesthetic. Blade Runner is renowned for being a densely layered, dark and gritty sci-fi masterpiece. But is there really any possible way that a story like that can be told within the universe of this character?
Astro Boy, Astro Boy.
Yep. Welcome to Gateway to Anime. If you're a fan of dark sci-fi like Blade Runner, with its deep philosophical layers and gritty detective story, we have something for you. Pluto is a dark, modern adaptation of Astro Boy, written by an acclaimed mangaka known in part for a brilliant crime thriller called Monster. This celebrated manga is receiving an anime adaptation, spearheaded by one of the most influential and artistically driven producers in the anime industry. The anime is set to release on Netflix in October this year, and fans of the manga know that it has a lot to live up to. The dark cyberpunk tone may not make the transition from the page to the screen, so if you want to experience the world of Pluto before the anime release, you can get a discounted copy of the Pluto manga from our sponsor. King's Comics is an award-winning comic retailer in the heart of Sydney. Their manga section in the store has expanded to become 3 times larger, offering a huge selection to browse through. They keep their shelves fully stocked with the hottest new manga titles and the freshest new volumes of your favourite series. They've also got an extensive back catalogue of discounted manga, some of which is discontinued and out of print, so you might find some rare titles that you can't get anywhere else. Beyond manga, King's Comics stock a huge range of comics, collectibles, and pop culture goodies. And if you can't make it into their store, their website is fully stocked and ships internationally. Thanks to King's Comics, you can get 10% off an online order using the discount code GATEWAY2ANIME. Head to kingscomics.com and get yourself a bargain. Thanks so much to King's Comics for sponsoring this video and supporting our channel. Head into their store to get a hands-on experience of the incredible Pluto manga. Flipping a page to reveal a shocking panel is one of the best parts of reading through Pluto. It tells a layered story immersed in a dark vision of the future. If the anime can live up to the source material, it could be truly incredible.
All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
For the many questions raised by Blade Runner, this moment is the closest thing to answers that it offers. But Blade Runner isn't about answers. Its genius is its ambiguity. When the line between human and machine is so faint, the real question ceases to be what sets us apart, but why we are asking in the first place. It's because of that ambiguity that we begin to ask the questions, rather than the film itself. In the world of Blade Runner, it is imperative that replicants are defined as less than human as they are used for colonial slave labour. This is a thinly veiled allegory for the real-world dark history of colonialism, immediately establishing just how dystopian this setting is. Blade Runners are specialised detectives tasked with hunting down and killing any replicants who flee to Earth as illegal aliens, with the cold legislative distinction that this was not called execution, it was called retirement. The parallels to real-world colonialism and immigration are just as uncanny as the robots, and all of this is outlined in the opening titles, before the film even begins. The overtness of this allegory is very deliberate. The intent is to elicit an emotional response from its audience, in effect acting as a Voight-Kampff test, for us. Blade Runner doesn't just force its characters to question their own humanity, it forces its audience to do the same. The lingering ambiguity of these questions prompted by the film acts as a conduit to us carrying the themes out of the cinema and into the real world, to question our own humanity and the structures in our real lives. Believe it or not, the story of Pluto has a similar effect. Not only that, it shares some more surface level similarities too. Both works involve a hard-boiled detective tracking down elite robots in a dystopian cyberpunk future. The faint line between man and machine is used to explore some deep themes and structures that underpin our own daily lives, with some overt allegories forcing us to ask our own deeper questions.
Fuck off, skin job.
Blade Runner 2049 brings even further similarities, with its meek robot protagonist Kay experiencing constant derision by humans, much like the detective in Pluto. Blade Runner 2049 also includes a detail that replicants can't lie.
You're so sure. Because we never lie.
This rule can seemingly be overridden by replicants experiencing true emotional distress, which is a significant plot point shared by Pluto. The role of emotion in advanced robots is a core focus. True emotion is what qualifies a robot's AI as perfect, but shares the same catch-22 as Blade Runner, with true emotion being the catalyst for robot rebellion. Modified robot memories also play into this narrative thread, and the significance of a robot's dreams is given similar weight. A direct reference to Blade Runner's source material, Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Although the two works do differ in many fundamental ways, fans of Blade Runner will likely enjoy Pluto. Pluto provokes a lot of similar lofty and ambiguous questions to Blade Runner, in the same tonal range. It's a cyberpunk detective thriller with some great writing. Hell, there's even a scene with tears in rain. If the anime can faithfully carry over the tone of the manga, we could be in for a real treat. But how on earth does Astro Boy fit into this? Why would anybody try to tell a dark detective story similar to Blade Runner in the squeaky clean world of this character? Well, to put it simply, that glossy veneer covered some far more mature themes. When Astro Boy first released in Japan under the original name Mighty Atom, it was more than just a fun story for children. It served as a way to grieve over some devastating world history. The post-war time period in which Mighty Atom was released was significant to its relevance and runaway success. Characters like Mighty Atom helped both Japan and the world at large come to terms with the devastation of the atomic bombings during the war. Mighty Atom was a nuclear-powered scientific wonder that learned about humanity over the course of each adventure. A benevolent and heroic representation of nuclear power that cared for and defended humanity, offering hope in place of despair. With the release of Oppenheimer, audiences worldwide have been confronted with the reckoning of nuclear warfare and its risky development. With the dangers of nuclear power being thrust back into public consciousness, the Pluto anime might be arriving at the perfect time. While there is no shortage of great films and series that explore the dangers and fascination with nuclear energy, none are quite like this dark reimagining of Astro Boy, the original child of the atom. At the time that Pluto was written, though, the world was confronted by a different nuclear threat.
The people of the United States and our friends and allies will not live at the mercy of an outlaw regime that threatens the peace with weapons of mass murder.
One of the great strengths of Pluto was recognizing the relevance of this nuclear subtext for a modern world. Released in 2003, Pluto allegorically explores the recent American invasion of Iraq under the false pretense of weapons of mass destruction. Moreover, it explores how the threat of nuclear weapons has evolved from being a present danger to a silent bargaining chip in global politics.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
This includes a stark reminder that these sleeping giants could be awakened at any moment by those in power, with extreme emotions like hate and xenophobia being an uncomfortable factor in the dormant potential of a real apocalyptic war. These are heavy topics to explore, and in 2003 this was a deeply relevant concern. Once you strip back the glossy varnish of Mighty Atom, the character's metaphorical and historic significance were actually the perfect conduit to explore this subject matter. But with such a beloved franchise, it took a titan of the manga and anime industry to see that potential, and to be trusted with permission to adapt it. Not only to adapt it, but transform it into a detective thriller. Monster is a critically acclaimed anime from legendary mangaka Naoki Urasawa. If you aren't familiar, Monster is a dark crime thriller with some brilliant twists and a mature tone. You won't find the shonen anime tropes of magical power systems here. This is seinen grounded in the real world. we follow a young Japanese doctor working in Germany whose life collapses as he's accused of multiple homicides. He needs to evade an obsessive detective and prove his innocence while trying to survive a life on the run. This anime is a personal favourite, and we've already got a video about what makes this detective a great antagonist right here. As well as a hugely successful monster anime, Naoki Urasawa is famous for writing complex stories with multiple brilliant works under his belt. Urasawa grew up with Mighty Atom and considers it a formative work. So much so that the Doctor in Monster is named Dr. Tenma, as a direct reference to the Dr. Tenma of Mighty Atom. It was this deep understanding of Mighty Atom that led Urasawa to see the potential of a dark modern adaptation. Although it took some convincing, Urasawa pitched a story based on the greatest robot on Earth story arc of Mighty Atom, retelling it as a mystery thriller following a jaded German detective. This narrative angle clearly evoked Monster, and with Atom no longer being the protagonist, that signature mature tone of Urasawa's work could transform the story world. Miraculously, the pitch was approved and the manga went into production. This proved to be a brilliant decision as the work has gone on to receive critical acclaim, with a hotly anticipated anime adaptation in the works. With the help of co-writer Takashi Nagasaki, the nostalgic work of Mighty Atom was given new life. Which leads us to the story of Pluto. A string of mysterious murders are linked by a horrifying calling card, long, protruding horns left at the crime scenes. With no forensic traces of an assailant, it's suggested that the killer may in fact have been a robot, something that should be impossible with the strict programming that guides them. Detective Geist begins to unravel a mystery with far-reaching consequences, both for the delicate balance of government and his own personal life. Detective Geist is a familiar film noir protagonist, an overworked, reluctant specialist visibly tortured by the years of gruesome cases he's solved. He's haunted by more than just his current job though. Geist is one of 7 hyper-advanced robots scarred by their service in a recent war. Robots of this caliber are so advanced that they are capable of mass destruction, an allegory for nuclear weapons. This is the impetus for the aforementioned war, with Persia being accused by the United States of Thracia of secretly developing their own robots of mass destruction, a thinly veiled allegory for America's invasion of Iraq. Each of the robots that served in the war suffer from their own types of PTSD, forced to destroy thousands of their own kind in the name of peacekeeping. One of which being Atom. This is a brilliant reframing of Atom as a character. Astro Boy is remembered as a squeaky clean paragon of justice and optimism, much like the characters that inspired him, those portrayed by Walt Disney and Max Fleischer. In a post-war time period, characters like Mighty Atom gave people hope. But for contemporary audiences, characters like these feel somewhat saccharine and disingenuous. They are just too pure and too good to be relatable. Urasawa masterfully took this and flipped it on its head, framing Atom's squeaky clean image as deliberate government propaganda. Created in the image of a child with resilient optimism and incomparable strength, he is used in the name of peacekeeping to gloss over the horror of an invasion. Without spoiling the brilliant story and its many twists, Pluto has strong themes against the horrors of war, xenophobia, and racism, with a particularly critical view of government structures and abuse of power. The signature mature tone of Urasawa's writing transforms this classic world into something completely new, with Atom himself recharacterized in a sympathetic and haunting way. While it's too early to speculate about how the anime adaptation of Pluto might go, there is one reason to feel confident. The producer spearheading the project is the visionary Masao Murayama. Murayama began his career working at Mushi Studio with the creator of Astro Boy himself, Osamu Tezuka. Tezuka's immense contribution to manga earned him the title of the God of Manga, and through Mushi Studio, he's often credited as the man who kickstarted the entire anime industry. Working with Tezuka at Mushi inspired Murayama's entire career, one of which would bring forth some of the most iconic and influential anime of all time. Murayama left Mushi to create not one, but 2 legendary animation studios, Madhouse and Mappa. Through Madhouse, Murayama personally greenlit every project. This means artists would pitch directly to him, leading to Murayama planning and producing some of the best anime ever made. This includes all of Satoshi Kon's films, such as Perfect Blue and Paprika, other classic films like Ninja Scroll, as well as an overwhelming amount of influential series. One of the many series produced by Murayama over the years was Naoki Urasawa's Monster. Murayama worked closely with manga artists like Naoki Urasawa and Clamp to bring their manga vision to life through anime. He also curated anime anthology films like Neo Tokyo, showcasing a range of artists such as Katsuhiro Otomo before he went on to release Akira. Murayama left Madhouse to found Mappa Studios, the animation juggernaut currently dominating the industry with huge series like Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, and the entire Dark Trio. In fact, the M in Mappa is his name. This departure from Madhouse was a way of fulfilling a creative vision, starting Mappa as a means of funding Tsuneo Karabuchi's In This Corner of the World. In order to bring Pluto to life through anime, Murayama left Mappa to found another brand new animation studio, Studio M2. And if the trailer is anything to go by, great care is being taken to faithfully adapt this beloved manga. Pluto is one of those rare stories that manages to distill the best parts of a range of genres into one beautiful work. The cyberpunk world build and the detective story is enough of a grip for Blade Runner fans, while the serial killer elements capture the morbid curiosity of the likes of Zodiac and True Detective, replete with an ominous calling card motif from the killer. What's more, the group of super robots have an otherworldly detachment from a superhero team forced to hide their PTSD behind a glossy public facade, offering something for fans of works that deconstruct the superhero genre like Watchmen and The Boys. If the anime can capture the tone and artistry of the manga, this could be an incredible anime. In the meantime, if you need a hit of great cyberpunk crime anime, we have you covered. Check out Psychopass, Cyberpunk, No Guns Life, and Ghost in the Shell. For some more thrilling crime stories, check out Monster and Death Note. We have videos where we talk about the worlds of Psychopass and Monster as a part of Sam's top 3 antagonist series, which you can check out here. If you're interested in the art of genre blending, check out our recent video about how Cowboy Bebop brought everything from classic westerns to Hong Kong action cinema into one cohesive sci-fi masterpiece. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We've also got some Gateway to Anime shirts which you can purchase to support our channel, and you can join our Patreon for exclusive content, early releases, and access to our Discord server. Let us know your thoughts about Pluto and Blade Runner below. There's so much we wanted to include in this video but didn't have time to, so we'd love to discuss them further. See you next time!